Our next speaker brings a story of strength and determination. He was born in Eritrea, a nation shaped by struggle, beauty, and perseverance. His family made a courageous journey to the United States in search of opportunity and hope for a better future. As a member of Comet Class and the president of Accounting and Business Club here on campus, his passion and dedication do not go unnoticed. I am thrilled to have the opportunity to introduce him, as he was the first of my peers to make me feel welcome and included when I arrived on campus last fall. He is here today not only to share his story, but to remind us that our journey is never truly over. Please join me in welcoming my friend and the first student to be asked to speak at this TEDx event, Merhawi Andy.
Have you ever looked back at a moment or a journey in your life and thought, that was a turning point? That's when everything changed for me. I believe we all have these defining moments, these journeys in our lives that shape us into who we are today. For me, it was a 2-year journey, one that tested me, pushed me to my limits, and made me who I am now. A journey that took me from my home country and brought me here to the United States, and finally reunited me with my father. I was born in Eritrea, a small country in the eastern parts of Africa. And from the moment I was born, my fight for survival had already begun. I was born too weak, too depleted of blood. My skin, as my mother would describe it, was so loose it could be stretched like fabric. The doctors told my parents to prepare for the worst. There was no donor match, no stored blood, no hope. Until, by some miracle, a distant cousin turned out to be a match. And he was able to give me a life-saving blood transfusion. And when I was just a year old, my father made a choice that would change everything. He fled the Eritrean military, a military regime that had drafted young men and women into an indefinite service, a regime that he'd served for over 13 years. My father loved his country, and he fought and risked his life for its freedom. But he knew staying meant a life without opportunities. And so he ran through the Sahara Desert, through refugee camps, through prisons. He faced death at every turn. But he never stopped. He never lost sight of the future he wanted for his family. And when I was just 7 years old, my journey began. A journey that would force me to leave behind everything I knew. My home, my friends, the smell of my grandmother's cooking, the comfort of routine, and most importantly, my donkey. On that day, I remember my mother telling us that we were going to a festival in the city of Amhara. I was thrilled. My first time in the city. My first time at a festival. But what I didn't know was this wasn't just a festival. This was an escape. My father had planned for us to flee Eritrea right under the military's nose. If we were caught, we would be imprisoned, or worse. That meant nobody could know, not even our closest friends. And so after spending a few days in Amhara, we moved on to Barantu, a city near the Ethiopian border, where my mother met the man who would smuggle us out. And when night set, we set out on foot. It was me, my siblings, my mother, the 2 men that were guiding us, and a girl escaping with us that I'd never met before. We walked in silence through mountains and forests, led only by stars. My little brother, too young to understand, was carried on one of the agent's shoulders. He's carried on one of the agent's shoulders. He was carried on one of the agent's shoulders. And we walked for hours and hours. And the Ethiopian military base was finally in sight. With fear of getting caught, the 2 men told us we were on our own and left us. Guided by our mother, we walked towards the base. The soldiers were surprisingly kind. They gave us shelter and food. And from there, we were taken to a refugee camp, where a tent became our home. Groceries were rationed out weekly. I spent my days playing checkers with beer bottle caps on cardboard boxes, learning the ways of the camp, watching my mother hold our family together. And so after a few months in the refugee camp, we were sent to Addis Ababa, the capital city of Ethiopia. When we arrived, we lived in a community of apartments, learning a new language, adapting to a new culture. And after a year of waiting, we were going to America. But this time, we weren't walking. We were flying. I remember staring at that airplane, wondering how something so big could fly. And so with all the excitement and a little bit of fear, we boarded the plane. And on February 12, 2015, we landed in Des Moines, Iowa. And for the first time in my life, I saw my father. I was overwhelmed with emotions I didn't understand at the moment. My goal has finally been reached. This is what I've been looking forward to my whole life. My journey is finally over, right? Wrong. Because here's the truth. The journey truly never ends. It's just preparing us for the next chapter. It's shaping us into the person we're meant to become. And so I stand here before you today, writing the next chapter of my journey. One that takes into consideration everything I've been through. The good times, the bad times, the hardships, and the triumphs. A journey towards a goal that would make my parents proud. A journey towards a goal I have never had it before. A journey towards a goal that would make that little boy proud. Thank you.